Hi there, you're with English coach Simon, and I'm happy to be here with you today to talk a little bit about getting closer to your life purpose and getting closer to your own light. One of the things that is often used to talk about spiritual experiences is light, and the fact that light can be this metaphor for our soul or our spirit. And I really hold this as something true and something that we should believe in, something that we should look at as real. Because whenever you see someone whose eyes are shining, when they have a light about them, you can guess that there is something special about this person. And 9 times out of 10, there will be, unless they're on drugs, okay? But usually, when you look at this kind of person and they're a light like that, they have a reason for it, and usually it's some kind of happiness or something they're doing right in their life and not wrong. Okay. Now, this video I'm making today with you is basically about removing the rubbish from your soul. Now, what does that mean? Removing the rubbish from your soul. Well, there's many different aspects of accumulating rubbish in your soul. Now, a lot of them can just be attributed to your mind and things that you're watching on TV and thoughts that you're having in your mind about what's going on around you, or in less words, negative thinking. Now, negative thinking is something that kind of dirties your soul, dirties your mind, and dirties your soul. Not in a day or a week, but over time, generally after 6 months to a year. And it really encourages those cycles of negativity, anxiety, and depression. And of course, if you ask anyone on this earth, would you like to have depression? Would you like to have anxiety? Well, it's the last thing they want to have, isn't it? Of course, they're going to say, no, I don't want that in my life. But if you say to them, well, to give up these things, to give up negativity, and to give up negative thinking and watching these negative things on TV, are you willing to do that so that you will be able to rid yourself of anxiety and depression and certain things like that? And usually the answer is, oh, what is this? Some kind of self-help resolution to my problems. It sounds pretty typical, this old cliche. Don't tell me about that old cliche. But the problem is that there is rubbish in everybody's soul. And the more cynical or the more closed off to a solution, the more closed off you are to doing something about it, the more rubbish you're accumulating, because things are still going in, negative things are still coming into you, but nothing positive is happening. So that's just building up. That's just rubbish. Now, I mean, that's just one side to it, but that's a really big side. Like, I think that's the main vein, if you like. That's the main vein of negativity, or the main, let's say, channel of negativity. Some of the other channels, which differ in nature and have different consequences, are alcohol and drugs, where you're taking something or you're drinking to be able to deal with things and to be able to relate to life and relate to other people using alcohol and drugs. A lot of people do this and hide it from the world, and others just do it and celebrate it and advertise it to the world. It's not necessarily 100% negative. Some people can take drugs and drink alcohol quite moderately, but that would be the minority and purely exception. Because usually 90% or 80%, maybe closer to 90% of the people doing this are not doing this to improve themselves. Like, where in any magazine or documentary or research have you found that taking drugs and drinking is going to help you perform better in life? Where have you seen this? Like, who's giving you this illusion that maybe by drinking and getting wasted on the weekend, you're actually going to accomplish anything for yourself? Or are you not deserving of accomplishment? there are some questions that you need to ask yourself about drugs and alcohol. But that's not the only negative point to make here. There's another negative thing that generally comes in, and it's in the form of porn, flirting with strangers, this kind of thing. Flirting and porn is not necessarily 100% negative as well, but it always goes from something more moderate to something more excessive. Again, in 90% of the people, and you need to ask yourself the same question that is asked with drugs. Is it good? Is it going to improve your life to be flirting with all these strangers, or to be looking at porn? Is that going to improve your life? And if we go back to this idea of removing the rubbish from the soul, maybe you can agree with me that, our values, or the values we want to have, are that light that I talked about at the beginning of this session. That light that shines, the things that you want in your heart to keep you going and keep you strong. And in terms of this, I mean something like the sun, And imagine that your values are the sun, and that you are the earth, or you're a planet that can hold life. And so you're going around the sun, and you're getting the sun for life. You're getting closer to these values, and it's allowing more and more to grow in you. But when we get lost in these habits, like negative thinking, and getting stoned or drunk, or getting sexually obsessed and infatuated with people, we get further and further away from our sun. Now, what's the consequence of that in our solar system, or in our solar system? If you're a planet that can hold life, and you're close to your sun, everything's fine. You've got enough light, you've got enough things on Earth, on the planet, to create a lot of life. But as you go further away from the sun, well, you're going to have no life. You're going to be something like Mars instead of Earth. And the question is, what are you living for? Are you living to be someone desolate, or are you living to be someone vital? Do you take your values seriously? Or are you willing to sacrifice your values for negative thinking, drugs and alcohol, and sexual addictions or infatuations? Because what I'm trying to say to you is you have every opportunity in the world to remove some of this rubbish. And what do you replace it with is the question, isn't it? What do I replace negative thinking with? Well, you replace it with positive thinking. And you replace it with optimism and hope and faith in your projects. What do you replace alcohol and drugs with? Well, during the day, you replace them with productivity and things that you want to do for yourself that are going to make a difference. So at the end of the day, you can look back and see what you're capable of doing. Whether it was just washing your clothes, or whether it was washing your car, or whether it was signing a bank document, or whether it was going to the gym. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you do those things, you feel like you've lived. You feel like one part of your existence mattered. And when it comes to sexual energy, when it comes to being infatuated with other people, well, focus on someone who has meaning for you and who has supported you. If you're already married, if you already have a girlfriend, put your energy into that person. And not just sexual energy, put other energies into that person. So that your sexual energy can have a platform, so that it can have a support, and so that it can roll better when you guys are being connected. So, this is not the best advice in the world. This is not even 50% good. But what I want you to take into account here is you do have choices. You can be something like the Earth, which is a platform for life, or you can be something like Mars that needs to be worked on from the top. I mean, how many decades of your life in the future do you want to have to be doing therapy and fixing yourself up? Isn't today a good day to start to look at your life and say to yourself, well, I want more. I want better. I do want something for my life. I do want to be vital. So remove the rubbish from your soul. Thank you very much for watching today.